My fiance's family tradition required examining the bride's virginity, so I examined my options and ran. In my fiance's family, the father was required to check every bride's hymen the night before the wedding, while the male relatives watched to ensure she was pure. Marcus told me this 2 nights before our wedding. We were sitting on our apartment floor folding wedding programs, his mother's handwriting listing who would walk when, and he just said it like he was telling me what time to show up for pictures. I laughed because what else do you do when someone says something that insane? But he wasn't joking. His brown eyes stayed serious, the same eyes that made me fall for him at my roommate's birthday party 2 years ago. Tomorrow night, my father needs to examine you. My brothers and Uncle Roberto will be there as witnesses, he said, taking my hands, his thumb doing that circle thing on my palm that usually calmed me down. It's how we ensure the bride is pure. The apartment smelled like vanilla candles and fresh laundry. We had RSVP cards sorted by table number and a honeymoon to Santorini booked. Everything was perfect 20 seconds ago. Now the room felt like it was tilting. I asked if his mother had done this, my voice coming out weird, like someone was choking me. He said, "Every woman who marries into the Castellano family does it," Marcus said. "Mom, my sister-in-law Maria, my cousin's wives. It proves your love and shows you have nothing to hide." He squeezed my hands tighter, and for the first time his touch made my skin crawl. "You're a virgin anyway, so what's the problem? What's the problem?" Like his father sticking his fingers inside me while his male relatives watched was the same as checking my teeth. We'd waited 2 years because Marcus wanted our wedding night to be special, and I'd thought it was romantic, but now I realized it was about ownership, about making sure the product was unopened before purchase. His family came from old Italian money, the kind where they still spoke Italian at Sunday dinners, and his grandmother wore black every day even though his grandfather died 15 years ago. They had traditions for everything. Who carved the turkey, who made the sauce, who got married when. I'd loved being folded into something bigger than myself, loved how his mother taught me her recipes and his father called me daughter. The warmth of belonging somewhere after growing up in a broken home. But this wasn't tradition. This was a violation dressed up in ceremony. "Marcus, no," I said, pulling my hands away. "That's not happening." His face crumpled like I'd slapped him. He started talking about defying his father, rejecting their family's honor, and how I didn't understand what I was asking him to do. The words tumbled out faster and faster, desperate. "Your family's honor requires violating me?" I asked. "It's not violation." He stood up, pacing our tiny living room like a caged animal. "It's verification. One moment of discomfort for a lifetime of acceptance. Mom says it takes less than 5 minutes." I thought about his mother, the same woman who'd held me when I cried about my grandmother dying, who'd spent hours teaching me to make fresh pasta, showing me how to fold the dough just right. She'd spread her legs for his father while his brothers watched. She'd lived with that memory for 30 years, serving Sunday dinner to the men who'd witnessed her humiliation. I grabbed my purse and keys and told him I needed to think, but he followed me to the door, his voice pitching higher, asking what there was to think about. Then he said it, "Unless you've been lying to me." "Don't," I said, already at the door. "Just don't." I drove to my best friend's apartment in the rain, my engagement ring catching every streetlight. 2 carats, princess cut, exactly what I'd dreamed about since I was 12. The ring felt heavier now, like a shackle. She opened the door to find me sobbing with mascara running down the dress I'd bought special for tomorrow's rehearsal dinner. The dress that was supposed to make his family love me even more. "He wants his dad to check if I'm a virgin," I said, and saying it out loud made it real, made it worse. She poured wine I couldn't drink and listened to every broken word as I explained how the man I loved expected me to spread my legs for his father's inspection. She held my hand for hours until exhaustion finally won, and I passed out mid-sentence on her couch. Then I woke to 43 missed calls and a neck that screamed from the angle. The next morning I went back to our apartment. Marcus had been crying, his eyes red and puffy. He'd slept in his clothes, empty beer bottles on the coffee table next to our wedding programs. "If you loved me, you'd protect me from this," I said. The slap came fast, his palm connecting with my cheek hard enough to snap my head sideways. We both froze. In 2 years, he'd never raised his voice at me, let alone his hand. Suddenly, every beautiful moment together felt like a lie. "I don't need to prove anything," he said, his voice cold now. I left my ring on the kitchen counter next to the wedding programs we'd folded together 12 hours ago. Our names looked stupid in gold script, like they belonged to different people. People who were in love, people who protected each other. My best friend's couch became my home until Marcus showed up shaking. "I hit you to save your life," he said. "The examination isn't about virginity, it's an auction. The witnesses are buyers. Every woman who's gone through it gets sold after the first anniversary. I had to make you hate me enough to run." Full story on channel, linked below.